And back to those job numbers today. You know, the U.S. economy created 157,000 jobs in the month of January, although the unemployment rate did tick up just a little to 7.9%, up a tenth. With reaction, let's bring in Dan North, chief economist at Euler Hermes, and Joanie Ruge, employment industry advisor. Joanie, let's start with you. Overall, that number, not a very good one. What do you think?
Well, you know, it's not that it's a negative number, but it sure would be a lot better if it was north of 200,000. You know, we did get some good news in this job report that they actually revised the numbers for November and December, which actually showed that 2012 was a much better year for job growth, but still concerning that we're not seeing some bigger numbers for January.
Yes, and Dan, you know, the government's saying that, oh gosh, last year we added 30,000 jobs more each month than we ever realized. But how worried are you about the fact that the unemployment rate ticked up a tenth?
I'm concerned about the whole thing. Yeah, there's one positive in this, which was the nice revisions upward for last year. But let's look at the numbers. The 157,000, well, it was below expectations. It was well below December. It was way below November, so it's trending down. Unemployment rate's ticking back up. Participation is still hovering near the low of the 80s, and wage growth is just about flat with inflation. What's to like about this report?
All right.
The markets like it because it means the Fed is going to keep quantitative easing going and boosting those asset prices.
Right. The weakness itself becomes kind of attractive. Wish that happened in dating lives more. Joanie, what kind of job growth are we talking about? You worry that we're not enough in manufacturing while energy's booming.
Yeah, so I am a little bit concerned about manufacturing. We saw that both in the ADP report that was released earlier this week, as well as today's BLS report. We're just not creating enough jobs in the manufacturing sector, and that's where we lost, you know, thousands and thousands of jobs during the recession. So it's showing that the U.S. economy, we're not creating enough innovation and new products, and those jobs are gone.
But how much of this is because, well, businesses, you just lack courage and you're not investing, versus government policies are discouraging businesses from investing because of higher taxes, et cetera? Well,
yeah, there's a lot happening here, right? So some jobs may have been outsourced or gone overseas. It's cheaper to maybe manufacture products, you know, in China or Asia. We're seeing a lot of that. But at the same time, is there enough tax incentives or policies to even get some of these smaller to medium-sized businesses to invest and to manufacture more in the U.S.? So I do think that that is an issue. Where we're seeing the job growth is still in the services.
Right. And Dan, you know,
retail.
Dan, we just raised the income tax rate on small businesses, a tiny sliver that make up something like over half of all the profits earned by small businesses. Dan, this is one of the worst recoveries of all time from recession. Do you think that government policies are playing a big role in this, or is it just tectonic shifts, plates shifting as we move to a new economy?
I do honestly think that government policies have really been more of an impediment in this recovery than a help. Particularly not just this year, you see the marginal tax rates going up. That's a negative. More importantly is that that Social Security tax going back to its previous levels, that's hitting 77% of Americans and will be a significant drawback. Now you've got continued uncertainty over spending cuts, and guess what's going to happen when it comes down to it? Well, they're going to delay the cuts again, continuing to have uncertainty. So this is just a real impediment to hiring, I'm afraid.
Okay, and Joanie, one reason the numbers aren't better is because companies, when they do hire, a lot of them are doing a lot of temp hiring. Do you think this will stick around even after we reach a real recovery?
Yeah, I think that companies are hiring differently. They want more flexibility in the workforce. You can see from this recovery, the last 3 years, temporary labor has really been an increase. It's been up over the last 3 years, and it's up again this month on a year-over-year basis. So it's showing you that companies want more flexibility. They're hiring differently. It's not just the lower-level skilled positions. It's the higher-level
Even in the white collar. And then that ends up curbing economic growth, because when you have a job assignment that you know ends in 3 months, you don't spend at the same rate you do when you've got a supposedly permanent job commitment. Right?
Absolutely. And I think we also saw this week in the consumer confidence numbers that, you know, people are feeling those payroll taxes, and that is going to affect spending as well.
Great job. Thanks for being with us, Joanie Ruge and Dan North. Have a great weekend, guys.
I tell you, she makes a great point on that one. She really does.